Hey there. Welcome to episode 6 of This Is My Story, a series featuring creative, inspiring, and strong people who are following their passions and getting shit done. I am the owner of Snowman Films, Noah Mittman. I'm a full-time filmmaker, video marketing coach, family man, and entrepreneur. I am on a mission to spread authenticity, love, and connection to the world through the videos that my company creates. For all of you, stay safe, stay healthy, and please be part of the solution to the COVID-19 pandemic. Without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce you to Bryan Smith.
My name is Bryan Smith. I'm a professional cook, and right now I'm in the midst of a baking obsession. I identify as male, he pronouns. My purpose. Yeah, you're right, that is a difficult one. I've always felt a need to work with my hands, to be making something that, is not just for me. I think that's the importance of any art. There's a big difference between, I'm gonna do this thing for myself and I'm not gonna share it with anyone and keep it to myself, but really what value does it have at that point? For me, anyway. That's kind of the way I think about it. Something I really love about bread is that kind of every time you make it, it's different. It's very temperamental, depending on the quality of the air, what temperature it is, how clean is your water, how clean is the bowl you're activating your yeast in. There's just so many factors. It's so alive and breathing. My purpose is to, I think just that basic fulfillment. There's something very fulfilling about this weird jiggly dough mass in my hands, and at one point it was just flour and water and salt and some yeast. It's ever evolving. About a year and a half ago, I unfortunately lost a parent. My mother passed away. And she was an incredible cook. That's one of the things I'll always really remember about her. Something else she always instilled in me was, do what is gonna make you happy. Because at the end of the day, you come into this world alone and you die alone, man. Rather have a short life spent in a fulfilled way than a long life spent doing things you don't like doing. So yeah, it's nice to work with food, because I always kind of feel, like she's in the room in that way. Something that has stood out, I'll always think about the moment I decided, like I said to myself, I'm gonna cook for a living. I was working at my very first restaurant job ever. Honestly, I was there just because I was broke and I needed a job, and they were hiring, and I got a job for $11.50 an hour learning how to cook. And I worked there for a while. I ended up working there about a year and a half, and about a year into it, we would end up losing our head chef. We lost our head chef on menu release day, didn't have a lot of resources. I was working with one other cook who's very talented, and he just said to me, he's like, hey, if you wanna do this, here's an opportunity for us to shine. If you wanna walk out that door, I'm not gonna judge you either way. And I stayed that night. I chose to shine, to learn a lot of things the hard way. And that really made an impression on me that, I could really put my mind to something in that moment and make it happen. The first time I ever tried to make bread, I just I got a recipe from some of my mom's effects, and it was just something that she had clipped out of the side of a bag of gold medal flour. And I'm sure she made it many, many times, but I threw everything together and I made the most dense brick loaf, just awful. But it gave me a jumping point. It gave me some, place to take notes and somewhere to start. And the second loaf, I read a couple of books about bread. I learned what gluten actually is, and then I baked a loaf of bread, and it came out beautifully. Not beautifully, it's still kind of trash, but much better than what I was doing. I still am always gonna have a long way to go with bread. I speak Spanish, I'm actively learning Russian, Italian, French. I really love languages. But I, as an adult until this year, had never been outside of the United States. This year I got my passport and I went to Costa Rica with my lovely girlfriend. And that's something I'm really proud of. I got to exercise speaking Spanish in a place where people speak Spanish natively. It was awesome to talk to locals and eat the food, and I bought a bunch of spices. Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh yeah, man.
I'd say the biggest thing that comes up about me, anyone that I've worked with, and in the professional kitchen setting, I'm known to be intense, and I'm sure people that haven't spent a lot of time with me in the last 3 or 4 years would kind of laugh at that. But yeah, I get pretty intense in the kitchen. It's never lost on me that my work is something that someone's gonna like put in their mouth. So I am pretty serious when I have food in my hands. So, I like to have a good time and when the line's flowing and we're serving good food, but I really like to have the focus up until that point. And when I say focus, I have really bad focus face. Like when I'm at my cutting board and that knife's hot and I'm moving, like most people think that I'm pretty upset. No, it's like sunshine and rainbows up here, but it's just my focus face. I want my legacy to really just revolve around hard work, putting your mind to something and making it happen. It's important to me to always do things kind of with both feet in. It did take me a really long time to figure out what I want to do, and there's always that feeling of like, oh, if I had discovered cooking, when I was 18, how good would I be now, blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, I wouldn't. If I had discovered cooking when I was 18, I wouldn't be right here doing this. I wouldn't be pursuing bread in the way that I am, and all of that makes me incredibly happy.
What's the title of your memoir?
Ooh, eventually I won't suck at this, the Bryan Smith story. I've sucked at a lot of things. I think I've sucked at everything that I have ever liked in the beginning. I was a terrible filmmaker when I started. I was a bad photographer. I didn't have any sense of graphic design when I got into it. Oh my God, I was an awful line cook when I started. But pushing through those things, it really makes you appreciate in a way that's like, no one can take it away from me. No one can take away the fact that now I know how to make a loaf of bread. Like that's just something I have at my hands. The number one advice I would give to myself 10 years ago is don't take yourself so seriously. Learn to laugh at yourself. Life is gonna punch you in ways that you can't expect. And if you don't learn to laugh, you're gonna struggle. So just take a step back. You're learning, you'll get there. So I use steam in my oven and I bake on baking stones. All that's trying to replicate like a hearth oven. So you're having like a ripping hot oven, at least 500 degrees for bread. Put the towel down because if you get cold water on the glass, it'll crack. One of my favorite quotes by far is by a Brazilian lyricist. His name is Paulo Coelho. And it says, know what you want and the universe will conspire to help you achieve it. And yeah, I really believe that. And it's not magic. It's when you really have a vision and you're focused and you're driving, the only result you can have, like you're gonna surround yourself with people that have that same attitude. You're gonna put yourself in that environment all the time. You might be obsessing over material like bread or something. Yeah, I truly believe that. What have I got going on? Really this, man, just flour, water, salt, and yeast. No, I'm currently working on getting my sourdough skills up. They're around here somewhere. Are they right behind you? Oh yeah. Those are my 2 sourdough starters right there. Yeah. Interesting thing about sourdough, it is, I feed my starter 3 times a day. It's something interesting that I never thought I would care about a little jar of bacteria so much, but I really do love it. I named it. I guess I have to share the name. Damn it, I shouldn't have said that. It's on the jar. I named it lycanthropy, which is the disease like someone would have if they turn into a werewolf. And I named it that because halfway through feeding the starter, I changed over the microbes inside the jar because I wanted it to be a rye starter instead. Yeah, that's just bread stuff. Sorry to all my friends. It's ripe.
It's great.
It's a ripe amount of, yeah.
Ripe amount of ghee.
It's like, I am who I am. It's fine.
Thank you so much for watching. If you got something from this video, please like and subscribe. If you want us to make a video like this to tell your story, hit us up.